What's up guys, in today's video I wanted to cover the principles of training, and in today's video we're going to cover specificity. Now the principles of training are rules that you need to abide by in order to achieve your goals when it comes to training, and these rules outline a basic framework from which you must start from. So with specificity we're going to be looking at it in the context of building muscle and hypertrophy, so from kind of a bodybuilding perspective. So to kick things off, doing things like strength and endurance training while trying to build muscle will indirectly and directly interfere with this process through different kinds of molecular signaling and all kinds of other fancy stuff. It will interfere with muscle building training, and you will see impaired results and kind of non-optimal results. So when you're training below 4 reps or anywhere above 4 reps, above 20 reps, you're not going to be getting the results you want. So doing things like powerlifting and CrossFit and bodybuilding work at the same time, you're not going to achieve the results you want, and if you want to have a strength phase and a hypertrophy phase and maybe an endurance phase, something like that, you will have to use phase potentiation programming, where we'll go into that as a later principle. But for now, you can't do all different kinds of things at the same time. You need to focus on one thing at a time so your body can adapt to it. So that's called directed adaptation. So you want to use one kind of goal, you want to achieve one kind of goal at a time, because our body can't adapt to 7 things at the same time. Yes, I know our body is amazing, but it's not that amazing to the point where we can get it to build muscle and get stronger and build kind of endurance all at the same time, because all of those 3 processes interfere with each other when done at the same time. So we need to focus on doing one at a time. So when we are trying to achieve the goal of building as much muscle as possible, we need to go through different kinds of tactics. So that is training in the 6 to 15 rep range, somewhere between there, maybe using DUP, undulated periodization, or maybe using block periodization or linear periodization. We'll go through those kind of different programming models later. And you may go through a mass phase. That's not necessary for endurance work or powerlifting work, but massing is great for bodybuilding work, because being a hypocaloric state, you get specific cellular signaling that allows the body to, or coaxes the body into building more muscle, because we know the body doesn't like putting on muscle. Can't just say, I want to put on muscle, and the body just starts doing it. We have to force the body to adapt to it. So training with good amounts of volume and being in a hypocaloric state will help us build muscle. And what I noticed a lot is people tend to max out too frequently as well. That's also a problem, doing 1 rep maxes and things of that nature. And the problem with that is maxing out too frequently, not only does it generate fatigue, it violates the specificity principle, which means that we're doing powerlifting work here. Powerlifters 1 rep max, that's their job, but it's not the job of a bodybuilder. So we don't do those kind of things. We do AMRAPs. AMRAPs is as many reps as possible. That we'll jump into that later. So really covering the specificity principle is that we can only do things that build muscle if we want to build muscle. If you want to do strength work, do things that improve strength. If you want to improve endurance, do things that improve endurance. This thing sounds really simple, but I see people who are trying to build muscle and do kind of a powerlifting program. I see this all the time, and it's really retarded, and I don't know why people do it. So that's why I'm covering this thing here. Because now, so important, in my earlier years of training, I did do stupid shit like this, but now that I learned it, I'm not going to do it anymore, and I advise that you don't do it as well. And in later series, we'll be covering the later principles that will be becoming more specific, but basically this is one of the most important principles. As I go through the principles, they're going through in order of importance, because if you're not doing specific training, you will not achieve your goal at all. No matter how good all the other principles that you are doing, no matter how good your assistant work is, and your hypertrophy training is, and your volume periodization work is, and your programming, and all sorts of your other toppings on the cake are, if the cake is shit, the whole cake is shit. It doesn't matter if you've got a piece of poo and you put a cherry on it, it's not going to make that thing taste great. Not that I've tasted it. But you get what I'm saying. If the core foundation is messed up, or if it's not even existent, you can't build on it. Try building a skyscraper without a foundation. The whole thing will just topple down. So specificity is the foundation we have in order to achieve our goals. So I hope you guys learned something useful. I hope you guys actually implement this and stop doing the stupid shit that you are doing, so you can actually start achieving your goals. So I'll catch you guys later with the next training principle.